Becky caught me off guard on Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And we just had lice. You can see where this is going.
She walked in the bathroom. I was having some alone time.
The shampoo was meant to be there. Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a 30-something with a 4-year-old stepdaughter and a newborn baby.
And I'm Daniel. I'm a 30-something and I've had kids for a while, ranging from toddlers to teens.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Ramblings of Dadmen. If we ever get our own Patreon, we would tell our subscribers why dolphins are very, very horrible people. But we can't yet, so I'll just leave it as that. How are you, Dan?
Oh, very good, yeah. Very good.
Just so everybody knows, there are some things that unfortunately do not make the edit. Some things are better off.
Yeah, better off not said. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah, really good, yeah. They can't say more than that. I'm just really good.
Yeah. Good.
You?
That's good. Yeah. It's all been good, apart from our kitchen is falling to pieces. Our oven's broke. Our washing machine's broke. Every time you run a bath, the pissing roof leaks. We are not having a good time in the kitchen, which is good when you have 2 kids and one of them refuses to have a shower anyway. So she's a bath girl. Every time you do the washing up, you need a brolly now. But apart from that, we're doing all right. We've had to use various favours in terms of washing over the past couple of days because this is one thing you never prepared me for being a parent is the amount of washing that you have to do.
Well, again, I'm going to call pre-pod, man. I think I've said it every fucking week. I'm surprised your washing machine is not on every day.
No, you did call me. I'm gonna tick off the pre-pod when you did warn me about it.
This is sleep deprivation at its finest.
Yeah.
It won't get easier for a while.
No. Well, that's something we can discuss actually slightly because as we move into term 5s to leap 2s, I've read up on leap 4, which is daunting. So we can
is
talk
that the
about
one that lasts about 2.5 weeks?
Oh, I think this one said that it lasts for about 6, but there are like absolute rotters. Yeah, so
I don't know whether that app's a good thing or a bad thing. I remember looking at it and thinking, well, we've got a good couple of weeks, and that sort of did marry up. And she was, a good couple of weeks, and then there was a rough couple of weeks. And just having the foresight that she's going to be a shithouse, that just demotivates you to want to be alive.
Stocked up your beer fridge extra for that week. I was researching into it. Our leap, the bad one, the next bad one that we've got, has like 2 storm clouds. We've basically timed this that we booked a holiday about 18 months ago, only like to a little caravan park or something like that. We booked it ages ago, and it's coincidentally coincides when this holiday is going on. So we have an extra caravan bedroom. So we're just inviting everyone to come stay for a couple of days on this holiday because we're like, can we go on holiday and deal with this screaming child that's going to be horrible? So, how's your week been then, my friend?
Usual stuff we work during the week. We tend not to do too much these days in the week. But yesterday, every man's worst nightmare happened. We went shopping for the day.
Oh.
So that was fun. Dragged around from shop to shop. Stood looking at the same clothes in every shop. It's great.
How's Beck for shopping? Is she there? Oh, I like this, but I'm not too sure. I might come back to that one later. I'll go look at another shop. Or is she the kind of one that, oh yeah, that'll do. I'll get everything.
No, she's definitely the former. She likes taking the time, which I get. That's fine. But then she quite often will get 10 items of clothes, go to the changing rooms and come out with none of them. I've got clothes that I've bought that I didn't like when I got them home, but I still wear them because I refuse to take them back. And the latter. No shopping trip for me has ever lasted more than an hour.
I am looking at a pair of jeans that I bought a couple of days ago. And let's just say I bought the wrong size. If I hold the legs up, the waist goes up to my nipples. Like, they are that long.
Have you been shopping in the pregnancy section again?
No, even worse, boohoo. And yeah, I'm just never going to get them back. I'll just rather lose it, however much they cost me. Just lose it. It's fine. I did have every intention of sending them back, and Becky said, "Oh, I'll do it for you. It just makes more sense." And then my mother came round today, who actually was a saviour, but she tried to do a very kind, motherly thing to throw away some of the rubbish that's in our dining room. And she's thrown away the return bags anyway, so I'm fucking stuck with them.
There you go. You've got to get pregnant now.
Yeah.
Cap the weekend off, though. Today we've been up to Hay Hall.
All right, okay.
Had a nice little dog walk, which actually conveniently links to some of the parenting highs and lows for me. It relates to the dog, and I know this one's a bit of a loose parenting high and low. I still see the dog as one of the kids. Fuck off, right? Leave me alone. Apologies for anyone who's eaten at this point. She had a stool that was less than solid. For people that don't know, my dog is white. Yeah, so that was stuck. I tried to get it off with a poo bag, unsuccessfully. And then Beck said, "Oh, I know what, let's just walk to the bathroom. There's a toilet. So I'll get you some toilet roll and you can try and clean it up." Great. Just come out, hand of wet tissue, hand of dry tissue. I did my best to try and clean her up. It was just yellow. It was, not a pretty sight. So definitely parenting low there. And then we made the decision, we're going to have to go home. And then Georgia started sulking because we'd come to the park and promised her we'd come to Hay Hall and promised her that she could go on the park. So, we had to stand around with a dog. So, that was definitely a parenting low.
Oh, dear.
And a parenting fail at the same time.
Yeah. Having a 2-month-old daughter, I can absolutely totally relate on the loose stools. So, Robin has a little routine now where she will tend to go every other day around the same time and then shit for about 4 times in an hour. And I swear to God, we were having a curry the other day. I'm sorry, it was like vegan meatballs in like a curried sauce. I can't really explain it. Becky made it. It was lovely. But it was the same consistency and the same, like, it was just, there was no difference to it. And I was just changing the nappy just before I had my tea. And I'm thinking, this is just exactly the same.
Yeah, never get a keema korma. Doesn't look pretty. Tastes amazing, just doesn't look nice.
Yeah.
I mean, before I kick into my parenting night, what have you been up to this week?
Monday to Friday is Monday to Friday, like I say. A lot of work. Obviously, we briefly discussed last week that Flossie has had the chicken pox. So we haven't actually seen her this week. She stayed at her dad's and her nan's just to help out, really. Apparently, anyone with chickenpox should stay away from newborns, especially if you're breastfeeding. So luckily, everyone was really nice about it. So we managed to see her yesterday. Really happy to see us for about 15 seconds before she's like, "This is my house now." We actually went to a birthday party yesterday. It was a friend of Becky's. It's a 1-year-old birthday party, so it was bedlam, as you can imagine. But that was nice. And today we've actually had quite a bit of a relaxing day.
How dare you?
From about 12-ish anyway. So Robin didn't really sleep very well last night. Flossie was up at her usual 6 o'clock in the morning, bouncing on us, asking us to, put a film on or do something. She was like, "Come on, it's time to get up." And it just this morning was quite difficult. We couldn't get lots done. The washing machine had broke. This is going into my parenting high, to be honest, as well. So this is where we're going with it. I asked my mum to see, said, "Oh, is there any chance you can come and have a look at this washing machine? I don't know what we've done." Joe's quite handy. So he ended up coming down, and my niece ended up coming down as well, who apparently is living at my mum's now. She's not. She's just always there. My niece, Flossie, and Robin, we ended up going to the park just for an hour to get out of the house because it was a bit chaotic. That gave Becky a chance to go and shower at 12:30. So that's the kind of day we've had. Anyway, this is all sorted, and our parenting high, and it seemed quite insignificant in the scheme of things, but Flossie was having a really good time playing with Chloe, playing with my mum and Joe for a little bit, to the fact that they didn't want them to go home. So I went upstairs and I was doing some washing, and my mum said, you just need them to have a sleep for an hour. And I'm like, honestly, Flossie never sleeps. She does not go to sleep. Robin obviously does, but she'll wake up and then for 13, 14 hours, that's fine. She's high energy. And she's like, well, I'll take her if you want. I'll take her for an hour or so. We'll go out or something. Anyway, to put into context is that when Becky is in sight, Flossie does not go anywhere outside of Becky's proximity. She's very much a mummy's boy. But a bit of a high today was like we said, like, do you want to go play with Chloe, my niece, still? And that means that you'll go with my mum for a little bit and go to her house and go get something to eat. And she said yes, but yes without thinking about it. And that seems really insignificant. But to us, that's a huge thing that Flossie is comfortable around them enough to go on them and kind of solidifying the families, I guess. So that was a real high for us. Yeah. Sorry that we've got a little bit serious there, but it was no. It was just a nice moment.
It's important. Yeah, it is. It is important, and I get it. It is nice when things like that happen.
Yeah, but usually, and I mean, this is with Becky's side of the family as well. Flossie is very hesitant to go anywhere where Becky doesn't have. And, we explained the situation. We said that we'll come and pick them up in a little bit. And Becky and Chloe, I was going to say Robin then. I'd get to the right name eventually. And Flossie was like, okay, bye. And she's just ran my room ragged for a couple of hours. So, but that's give us chance to like proper look into the, get some washing machine done, look into getting an oven and etc. Some, boring adult stuff that you needed to do.
No, I hate being a grown up.
Yeah.
Boring, isn't it?
It really, really is. So that's my parenting high. Parenting low is more of a parenting fail, and it's not so much anything that I've done parenting wise. Becky caught me off guard on Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, and we just had lice. You can see where this is going.
She walked in the bathroom. I was having some alone time.
The shampoo was meant to be there.
I'd spilled some mayonnaise on the floor. I was cleaning it up. And she just walked in at the wrong moment.
It's shaving foam! No, nothing like that. But we just had a very rare 15 minutes. Robin was asleep. Flossie was asleep at a decent time. And we just had like a nice 15 minutes talking to each other, which you don't seem to get as parents, especially with a newborn. You're just talking. And then Becky went, do you know what? I think I could do it. I think I could have another kid.
Oh my God. Wow.
I was like, what? She goes, well, what do you think? I said, well, I'm fine to practice if you want. And she's like, yeah, should we have another kid? I feel ready. I think I could have another kid this year.
Does Becky need someone to explain to her how hormones work, that you have peaks and troughs?
Well, let me get to the point. I was like, right, okay, fine. And then her face changed. She was like, no, you dickhead. You have to be stronger than this. You have to be stronger. Like, no. I'm going to come on and say things like this, and you're going to have to say no.
Wow.
I fell at the first hurdle.
I've got a newfound respect for Becky, but does she not know, right? Asking any bloke, right, you want sex? Yeah. No, you've got to say no. Why would you do that?
So I thought that was quite a funny story, but I fell right into a trap, I guess, for want of a better phrase.
You tried doing
yeah. We probably have to think about making bad decisions when we're drunk. So,
well, my parenting high was a little bit more serious, but like you said, something small. Everyone's been testing for COVID, all of that standard routine testing, and the kids have to do it twice a week for school. Georgia's had this thing where she hates having the swab stuck up her nose, and to the point where it's like fear. And as soon as you even go anywhere near her nose, did it once and literally touched the tip of her nose. She flicked her head back, knocked the thing everywhere. It was just absolute pandemonium. So anyway, we've sort of talked her into it and just sort of said, look, count how many times I've got to turn it around. In doing that, we've refocused her attention, and she's actually now got over that fear and gone to the other end of the spectrum where she actually loves being tested.
Wow.
To the point where I had to do it midweek on her. She came downstairs at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she's followed me downstairs. So, ready for my test now?
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It's a gateway, that. First it's a swab, then it'll be a cotton bud. Before you know it, she'll be she's
sticking marbles up her nose.
Yeah, the toilet brush,
Dear. Definitely, it's just a high for me that she's overcome a fear. I think that's the big thing. Obviously, it's something that's really important. She has to do anyway, but the fact that she's overcome a fear so easily, and just from refocusing her attention on a specific bit, I just thought that was quite cool.
That's really good.
In terms of actual stuff, then, there's no podman from me. I don't know if you've got any.
Don't think there's any from me.
Success. All right, swiftly moving on then. Recommendations, which we still need a jingle for.
We do need a jingle for. Our Netflix has been down this week. I don't know what I've been able to do with myself, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, maybe that's why you started talking about having another kid.
Oh, well, maybe, yeah. Apparently, it's something to do with the DSS feed. So we haven't really been watching anything. So my recommendation this week is Sherry.
What, the lady from round the corner? Or
no, just normal Sherry. I quite like it. It's worth a try. I bought a bottle. It's doing the job.
This is not recommendations of the week now. This is curveball of the week.
Yeah.
Fucking Sherry.
I had to buy a bottle when the
only person I've ever known to drink Sherry is Dot Cotton.
Well, yeah, and my nan used to drink it, and it used to be the thing over at Christmas. I always remember her having a tiny little glass at Christmas when you were pouring it for Father Christmas. And I don't know why. I just thought, I fancy it. I wonder what it's like. Tried it. It's pretty good. So have a bottle of sherry and let us know what you think.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I can't argue with it. I know it's quite sweet. Maybe I'll try it. Well, I've had Netflix. So I've not been drinking any sherry. I've completely destroyed. I've caught up and finished Ozark.
All right, okay.
This series 4 is part 1. They've left it on a massive cliffhanger. The second series was getting a bit samey, a bit boring. And then towards the end of the second series, it started ramping up, and then they had some shocking things, like some shocking deaths just randomly happen out of nowhere. And then through the third series, they had quite a lot of those, to the point where the series 3 finale, Beck's not watched it, but I actually rewound it and went, just watch the last fucking 15 seconds here. She had no context over what was happening. My jaw literally hit the floor.
Wow.
Like, you expect the opposite to happen, and then this happens. It started to grip me again. So I blasted through all of the 4th series.
Wow.
And you can see certain storylines spinning up. And again, there's been a few shocking deaths. But you genuinely cannot see where the bigger story, the bigger picture's going. So I am excited for part 2.
That sounds good.
If you're into drug stuff, I don't mean if you're into drugs, but if you're into stuff that involves like cartels and all of that, I genuinely would recommend Ozark. The second series is a bit boring. The first series is okay. The third and fourth series, pull it back. There you go.
Yeah. I think I definitely started watching the first series, and I can't remember if I got into the second. I'm pretty sure I did, and I think I slowed it down then, so maybe I'll ramp it up again. But it was a long time ago when I watched it. So
my next one's going to be Gotham.
Gotham, right? Okay. I started watching something today, and it hit me that I've become a dad. Was
it How to Clean Baby Sick Out of a Carpet?
Honestly, it's worse. It's worse than that. I could absolutely imagine my granddad watching it or something like that. I watched a program with James May in it, how to build a lawnmower piece by piece from scratch. Is that the most dad thing ever?
Yeah. I'd say that's probably close to that's the most granddad thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, right. And I watched this. I had Robin on me. She was asleep. We're having a great time. I just watching this. I thought this is really relaxing. Like, I know how to build a lawnmower now.
Well done.
It's called the Reassembler. If on Prime, if that's
Nope.
your thing.
Nope. Not going there. I'm still a young dad. Leave me the fuck alone.
Before we go into like our main subjects, for want of a better word, I thought of could be like a little piece that we could do every week, just like a funny moment, like how kids like say stuff. And I'm sure you've had this with Georgia and Callum, where you just look at it and think that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I want to take you back to about 4 hours ago, where Flossie said to Mummy, Robin's hungry. What time is boob o'clock? As Flossie mimics breastfeeding with a teddy as well, trying to fit in with a mum. Like, this is the things that, like, really make it worth it, isn't it?
I mean, I can't think of anything specifically George has said. She's come out with some absolute crackers before. One of which was she was talking to her grandma about shoes. And she went, I want some shoes like you. She thought, well, what do you mean? I want some of them shoes with lifters on. So we're all looking at each other going, she on about lifters? And she went, them things that lift you up. Basically, she was talking about heels.
Right.
The way kids just start sort of interpret the world. I get what you mean. Yeah, brilliant.
Oh.
So I will try and jot a couple down that George has done through the week. Okay, so one of the things that I think would be good to talk about this week is it's a hot topic. Like it is in some households, sibling rivalry. And I know firsthand that you've experienced that with Adam and Jessica. Mm-hmm. But if you've got any stories in particular that stand out, I know Beck has sort of experienced that more jealousy, I suppose, than anything in certain aspects with her brothers. But I see that with Georgia and Callum a lot. Quite often, if they're sat together eating and Beck's doing the washing or whatever, and I'm upstairs, you'll hear them two just winding each other the fuck up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just me-mawing at each other. Nothing big, but just it's nice to hear. Your Callum will just say something to wind Georgia up, and then before you know it, it'll escalate into tears.
Our sibling rivalry in terms of my brother and my sister, there is no contest. Jessica, you are the favourite. like there's no contest with this. My brother always, we always have this argument. She is the favourite. I always remember one Christmas where me and my brother got 30 quid and Jessica got an iPad. It's fine. We were older. We could, we laugh about it. We're not bothered. But she's definitely the favourite.
With Christmas, should you get the same? And this is a controversial topic. But should you get the same spent on you as Jessica? Because obviously she's considerably younger. When you were that age, were you getting that amount spent on you?
We probably weren't had that spent on us when we were younger, but it was a completely different situation. My parents didn't have that much money when me and Adam were growing up. I mean, like lots of our parents, I would imagine. You grow money, you get money as you spend it a little bit more wisely as you. Things start to disappear in terms of bills and stuff like that. You get more money as you go older. And I think Jessica was just fortunate that as she was growing up, my parents were more comfortable.
I would wager, though, that if your mum and dad could have done with you and Adam, they would.
Well, I always remember one of my favourite ever presents was like a Nintendo 64 when I was 11. And when you factor that into how much that would have been, that was probably the same as an iPad. So, we didn't go without. We were very much looked after as kids. And as we got older, you don't want stuff like that, or you can afford stuff like that.
I want a Nintendo 64 now just to play GoldenEye.
Well, yes. Yeah, I mean, if someone bought me an N64 now, that would be fantastic. I always remember when I got that N64 as well. It was just after we came back of a rugby tour, and I remember just coming back and then getting my present, which was this. So, you know, my brother was the same. He got a PlayStation, which was comparable at the time. So we never went without. We always got the presents we wanted, but I think it was a bit more of a struggle. And of course, again, we talked about this when Beck and Becky were on the podcast, isn't it? Like, Beck feels she had a different upbringing. Probably the same for Jess as well, where she thinks that she dealt things different. And of course, the difference with Jess as well is that she practically grew up with my mum and dad splitting up as well. So double the presents anyway. Whereas me and Adam at the time probably just wanted beer money anyway. In terms of Beck in Flossie and Robin, we are starting to see not so much rivalry, but that kind of fight for attention. Not from, well, I mean, kind of from Robin's side as well. Robin is, you know, she's 8 weeks old. She's actually 2 weeks old yesterday. Sorry, 2 months old yesterday. God, that was bad, wasn't it?
Saved yourself a poppy.
I know, yeah. You know, we've started to see that development with her, which is brilliant. You know, we're having loads more smiles about her. She's starting to track noises that she hears, and she's starting to look around, and she's starting to make noises, and you know, she's just starting to develop that little personality. And of course, what comes with that is she now likes the attention. You know, she will like scream a little bit, or you know, look at you as you disappear somewhere else. I don't know if she's sat on me, and Becky goes out the room, she's following her, you know, which is lovely. But Flossie's kind of picking up on that as well, and because Robin is so like not so much demanding of attention, but she needs his attention. You know, at some point you can't put her down. You're walking down the hall with her because she's upset. She's trying to communicate. But Flossie is like, actually, well, how can I get this attention back on me? And does this mean that I have to cry a little bit louder or make a bigger noise by jumping off a bed? Or we are starting to have this not so much rivalry, but fight for attention. And is that something that you ever had to deal with?
Not with Callum and Georgia, no. Obviously, Callum was sort of getting into the back end of primary school when Georgia was born. Maybe a little bit when she was first born, but we included him a lot. And I think that was the thing. He was a different age range. The other way around, we do see that out of Georgia with the dog, where if we've got if we've got to do something with the dog, Georgia always has to be, you know, she wants to be involved, and she's throwing herself in there to try and help. It sort of goes unnoticed a little bit because it's the dog.
I guess we know your dog's like your little pride and joy in your little butt, and I guess George is feeling that, well, actually that should be me. But it's slightly different, but I can kind of see where she's coming off of. But I guess it's hard to manage, but easier to manage because it's the dog as well. Does that make sense? So
yeah. Just
a bit of a strange one, is it, with rivalries? How do you deal with that as a day-to-day thing? Because the last thing we want to do is, and Becky's like this as well, I don't want to feel that like Flossie is pushed out because I'm Robin's dad and I'm not her dad in terms of the dynamic, and I don't want her having to, when she's older, resenting that a little bit because, you know, she lives with, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in a few years' time, and I'm sure that Becky doesn't want that as well. She wants to, because ultimately Flossie is going to be with us 50% of the time, where Robin's going to be with us 100% of the time, and I don't want her to ever feel resented or have a rivalry with her because of that. And I don't want her to feel that Becky has a different relationship with Robin because she's with her all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think the only way you can sort of do that is for you both to dedicate time to Flossie. Sort of show her that one of you is going to be with her and take it in turns.
We've already talked about that in that Becky's gonna it's only a little thing. She's gonna take Flossie to the cinemas on her own just so they get that mum and daughter time.
Well, that was quite somber. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. I mean, one of the other things then that did pop up, you could have already experienced this. So I'm interested to see if you have, and if not, how you plan to attack it. Is the sort of good cop, bad cop routine when you...
Yeah, and we struggle with this. We really do, because Flossie doesn't see me as an authoritative figure. And I think I've mentioned that once or twice now. Like, I really struggle, not so much lay the rules down, but I struggle with it to get her to listen to me. And I always naturally have to play the good cop. But what I have to do is I have to parent her by distracting and bartering, if that makes sense. So, like, we have to always make a game out of it. So, like, if we're talking about how she can eat a tea, rather than me saying, come on, you need to finish this, I need to turn it into a game and saying, well, I bet you can't eat 3 spoons in less than a minute. Or one of the games that we play is she loves Shotgun by George Ezra. Why? I will never know. I fucking hate that song. I've heard it 70,000 million times. I fucking despise George Ezra. I had a rant about this not so much George Ezra, but one particular song which happened to be Shotgun. I remember having a rant about it at work about how I dissected into how it's just, I don't like it. There's a reason why fucking kids like it, because it's... Anyway, that's going off tangent. But I think
we just touched the nerve.
Yeah. If you've listened to Shotgun as much as me in the past 12 months, you would understand. But one of the things that she tends to do is, like, if you play Shotgun, she will concentrate a little bit more, and she'll do stuff like she'll start eating to the tune. So it's like she's eating it in rhythm, so it's like syncopated, and she's actually eating 5 teaspoons in a minute as opposed to 1 teaspoon every 45 years is what it feels like. So that's how I have to parent. Becky is more authoritarian in terms of she's definitely the boss figure in the house, but she's the boss figure because Flossie respects her. And that's not to say that she doesn't respect me. She does. She said that she likes me. I am definitely an accessory to the parent rather than a parent. And maybe that's something to do with being a step parent as well. But there's no way that I would have that bad cop persona about me, because she'd just laugh me out the room, to be honest. So that's something I struggle with, and I think that's something that Becky struggles with as well, because, you know, I think Becky sometimes just needs a break and, you know, wants Flossie to listen to me. But we just have to I have to think about how I parent, and I have to do that in unorthodox ways.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of good cop and bad cop with Georgia and Callum, it depends on the occasion for us. So I sort of get what you're saying with Flossie, and I think you'll have a different experience with Robin as she grows up. And I think as Flossie grows up as well, I think admittedly she was turning 3, but she was 2, like she was 2 years and 11 months. But at some point in her life, she's not going to remember a time when I wasn't in it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
At some point, she's going to start thinking, well, this is just my, life. Matt lives with my mum and stuff like that. And it's just going to be completely normal to her. So I'm not worried about it. It's just that I have to engage in a different way.
Yeah. In terms of Georgia, like I say, it depends who's reacted first.
Right, okay.
Out of me and Beck. We tend not to, we're both on a similar wavelength. So it's a very supportive thing. If I don't agree with that, I won't undermine Beck as a parent in that moment. I'll try and sort of diffuse the situation and calm everyone down, and then explain that to Beck later on down the line. But it's always we're always on the same page. So if one of us is bad cop, the other one's going to be bad cop as well. There's no getting out of it. You can't to the other one.
So it's not like you shouted at Georgia and then she's ran straight to Beck and she's give her a hug and say, oh, don't worry about him, kind of thing. And not so much like demeaned you or undermined you or anything like that, but just trying to comfort a child that's upset. So there's none of that, is there?
No, like I say, we are very much on the same wavelength, really, with our parenting style. But that's just the way that we work together.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds... Well, it sounds like you work together well as part of a team. It sounds like consistent, doesn't it? So, yeah. She's not going to get... She's going to get the same answer from you than she's going to get from her mum as well. And maybe that's what you need.
Unless, she sort of comes to me and says, can I have some chocolate or something? And I'll just say, yeah, not knowing that she's already spoken to Beck.
Yeah.
In which case, I'll just say, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe it is Georgia that would play us off. But if that happened, she'd get rumbled very quickly, and then she would get told off both of us.
Yeah, just wait till she gets in the teens and she wants some money or something like that, eh? And then she's like, Dad, can I have 20 quid? Mum, can I have 20 quid?
Yeah, 40 quid. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I never think of that? Get out.
Yeah. Okay, so before we sign off, our Instagram story has been very busy, and thank you for the people that have commented and reached out to us. And there was one particular comment that we found hilarious that we said we would discuss, and that goes to the person who we won't name because it still might be a secret, so we don't want to out them yet. But to the person who knows exactly who they are and are probably listening, whose baby fell off the bed at 7 months old and the bed is 4 feet high.
So for context, we put a few stories out on Instagram. We're trying to be a bit more interactive on there. So by all means, go and find us. And if you've seen one of the stories, shoot us a response. But yeah, that was one of the things was, is there anything that you'd want to admit to that you maybe haven't told your partner? And yeah, as Matt said, the baby fell off the bed, 4 foot high, 7 month old, and they still haven't told their partner.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely therapy for that person.
Yeah. I mean, I hope everything's okay. Like, I'm sure the baby's fine. Like, we haven't, they didn't mention that, but I'm sure they are fine, which is all good. I mean, babies tend to be like indestructible when they fall over things at that age anyway, do they? They know how to fall. They don't. It's fine if they fall over and babies. I mean, 4 foot sounds a pretty high drop for a 7 month old, though, to be fair. I guess it's how you react to the situation as well. If you react, this is something that I've found out about parenting, is if you react to something, they'll react a little bit. But so if she falls over and you look worried and you look shocked and you look upset, their natural reaction is to start to cry and worry.
Yeah.
But if you're nonchalant about it, or you turn it into a bit of a joke, or you're very blasé about it, first she'll be like, I'm okay. And then she'll literally say that. She'll be like, I'm alright. And then that's what she'll do. So it'd be interesting to see how you dealt with that at the time, person that decided that your baby was a skydiver. Like, how did you deal with that situation? Did you panic? Did you just laugh it off? Baby. Like,
how long did you not sleep for?
Yeah. Did you have to go to hospital just to check out? Like, did you have to book some secret time off work just to go get a checkup?
Yeah, I mean, you're telling us that you've not told your partner, so that's fine. So we're assuming there's no long-standing effects that your partner's not found out about.
Yeah. There's no amputated toes or anything like that he doesn't know about yet.
Well, it wasn't my fault, honest.
Okay, well, thank you for another evening where I've learned a little bit more about parenting. I hope everybody else has, or if you haven't, I hope you've listened to us failing and feel a little bit better about yourselves. But yeah, guys, thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.